experiential stuff is really important, and you want to maximize the amount of time that you're focused in doing experiential things as much as you can through college. And I think that like getting an esports degree, as long as you're on the field actually doing things in esports, attending events, networking, and advancing yourself in those ways, that's when it becomes very beneficial. So the question is, are esports degrees good? Basically. And by extension, it's like, are programs about esports and in colleges good? And will a esports degree actually help you? So I can expect that most people in chat are going to answer this question as no, right? It just seems like obviously like it's kind of a meme. But I'm going to give you a couple of points to consider, okay? So a while ago, when I was in college, I got a degree in business administration. So a basic business degree, but I got it with a focus in entrepreneurship. And the thing about entrepreneurship is, I think getting a degree with a focus in entrepreneurship is kind of a meme, because entrepreneurship is really one of those things that you kind of have to like wade through. It's kind of like entrepreneurship is a battleground, and you have to enter into it to start a business in order to really get like the experience of it. You can't learn in a book how to run a business, I think. I think you can learn some techniques and tactical things to run a business, but you can't really do it in a book. And I feel very much the same with an esports degree. I think that the reason why esports degrees are coming up in universities, and by the way, this is happening. Like, there are a lot of esports degrees coming into existence in the next few years and already in existence. And it kind of started with a couple of colleges. And actually, CLG had a partnership with a college called RMU, which is Robert Morrison University. And we were doing like a bunch of stuff where we would ship players over there, and they would do things, and we would talk back and forth. And we would, and they'd have like an esports program, and a bunch of other colleges have an esports program. So, but here's the thing that I would say. So within Twitch, there is a little known program called Twitch Student. Twitch Student is run by two of my closest friends. One of them is a director at Twitch, and one of them works for that director, and he's at Twitch. Guys named Garvey and Kevin. They're fantastic, awesome people. And they actually have me go out and speak at like various colleges about esports. Like, I just gave a talk at UW, and I'm actually being invited out to Carnegie Mellon to go talk to them in October, which is a fantastic opportunity. And this is through Twitch, and also like my esports background and stuff like that. So Twitch Student, what they do is they go to colleges and they educate people on streaming and on esports, and they try to kind of establish like little cells or like clubs where people can like be a part of esports and be involved in esports. So as far as education goes for an esports degree, if you had someone like me teach that class, I think I could give some pointers on how to get into esports and like some of the skills you would need. But the problem with esports is esports is a word that encompasses many, many different professions. Okay. So in esports, here are some of the main like skills you can do. Okay. You can do content, right? Which is one of the most important things, which is video editing, like video production, right? You can do social media, which is like channel marketing, exposure marketing, Twitter, Instagram, right? You can do, and we'll put spaces here so it looks all sexy. You can do management, right? Where it's like, or team management, which is like running players, managing day-to-day operations. You can do finances, right? On and on and on. You can do physical therapy or exercise for players, right? So the problem with esports is encompass esports as an industry. It encompasses so many different skill sets, all of which on their own could be degrees. So if you apply to my team and you say, I have a degree in esports, I don't know what you're talking about, because that there's no general skill set within esports that actually like applies out. Like it's not a skill set that I can hire you for, really, right? Does that make sense? It's like, it's not something where it's like, if you come to me and you say, look, I do social media with a focus in channel marketing, I'm very good at driving clicks to ads, I can be like, okay, I can see how that would work in the context of a team. But if you come to me and you say, I have an esports degree, I've done esports, then I'm like, what exactly do you do? Like, what when I hire you and then I put a desk and a computer in front of you, what will you be doing from day to day? This is the problem I think there is fundamentally with an esports degree, is that like I don't think that serves you in the same way that an entrepreneurship degree doesn't serve entrepreneurs in starting a business, because there are so many aspects of building a business. You need to understand how to read financial statements. You need to understand how to manage people. You need to understand how to hire people. You need to understand how to actually work, right? To like sit down and actually focus on things that are going to make your business more efficient and more effective. These are all things that you need to focus on that like a generalized degree in entrepreneurship can't teach you. So in that sense, I think if you're just getting a degree in esports, that is really not beneficial. Okay, so I've answered, that's pretty obvious, right? I think you could look at that, you could say, okay, that makes sense to me, Devin, so what? So here's where I think being focused in esports actually is cool. Within, so I'll use UW as an example. UW has a esports like kind of arena, and they have like a little place that you can go to like, there's like 5 computers set up, and then there's like kind of like a LAN cafe type thing, and you can play games there in a LAN cafe type format, but you can also compete there. And there are these esports clubs that are centered at UW. I love this because I think that's an opportunity to get into the industry at a very early age. So what if, for example, you were a coach for one of those esports teams? Well, now you have very relevant experience, right? Where if you were a coach for an esports team for 4 years in college, when you graduate college, even, whether you have an esports degree, a business degree with a focus in esports or whatever, if you have 4 years of experience coaching a team, that's awesome to me, right? That's super cool. And this is where you really get leverage from college in esports. And this is why I always encourage people to go into programs that are associated with colleges or associated with like this is one of the reasons why I'm a huge advocate of Twitch Student, because I think that nothing really trumps experience. At the end of the day, if you've been in it and you're able to leverage that experience into real life experience, it's so valuable, right? Like when we talk about a lot of the like phase and optic situations, it's always very surprising to me that there are people on Twitch and like on YouTube, and I read some of the, I like consume some of the content that they do, and I'm really surprised by just how off base they are, like on these issues. Like they just really don't fundamentally understand it. And it's not an issue of them not looking into it and not spending time on it and not being intelligent. All those things are the case. Really what it's an issue of is the fact that they just haven't been on the ground, and they just haven't, there's a certain value that comes from being on the ground in things that it's like, oh, like literally with the optics situation, like I've lived that, right? I've literally been through that M&A situation. I know exactly what Hector is going through because I've literally lived that experience. And I can speak to that in a way that few people can, unless they've also lived through that experience. I think I can't explain why, but experiential stuff is really important. And you want to maximize the amount of time that you're focused in doing experiential things as much as you can through college. And I think that like getting an esports degree, as long as you're on the field, actually doing things in esports, attending events, networking, and advancing yourself in those ways, that's when it becomes very beneficial. And I think if you just graduate, like it's like you get out what you put into it. The thing about college that's so interesting, and the thing that I've really had to think about over time, has been that if you invest in yourself in college and you do more than just the program demands, and you involve yourself in clubs, and you involve yourself in community, and you involve yourself in being on a team or coaching or playing or whatever, you have so much more leverage than someone who just graduates with a degree. And this is true in every single discipline, right? It's true in psychology. If you get an internship with like a renowned therapist, or you are in business and you go internship, one of the best things I did was I internshiped for a angel company. At my college, near my college, I internshiped for a group of angel investors, and I learned how pitches were done. I learned how to write proposals. I learned how to read financial statements, and tons of very valuable stuff that then led me to a successful future because I did more than the normal amount in college. And now I barely even think about the degrees that I have. I mean, they don't really apply to anything. I guess it's kind of cool to say, right? But the time that I spent just learning that stuff was really valuable. So that is why I think that esports is actually like something that could really help you in college if you apply yourself correctly.